Hello and welcome to video number 3. Thank you so much for watching videos number 1 and 2. If you haven't, go back and watch those. They're all on YouTube. The first video is about my story, gardening, how I came to be a gardener, how I started, why I started, and how it's changed me forever, for the good. I think I've become a better person. I'm certainly better at handling problems and taking risks, among other things. And so, yeah, I just shared kind of my story, how I never had any gardening experience ever before, and how I came to be where I am now. And then that second video is about really looking at the nitty-gritty of kind of the finances of gardening, with the specific example of tomatoes, and how it really is more cost-effective to grow it yourself, to take the time, which is about 5 minutes a day, to grow it yourself, preserve it yourself, cook with it yourself, rather than going to the store. So it really breaks it down, and basically if you have a couple cents, maybe even just a penny, and 5 minutes a day, you can do it, and you can grow your own food. So those two videos are really, really, really great, I think, and helpful in kind of giving you an overall idea of where I'm coming from. But today I wanted to actually spend some time and talk about some of the questions, hesitations, rumors that everyone the assumptions people have about gardening and why we say we can't do it. So I kind of have my little notes here, broke them down into time, money, and knowledge. Now, space is also a part of that, but I'm kind of just addressing these other three because space, again, is totally, there's so many different ways to go about gardening in small spaces and large spaces, all that kind of stuff. But the first one, so time. So, yes, we're all busy people. Very, 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 very busy people. However, there are so many time-saving options nowadays, especially there's all different kinds of gadgets. You can have automatic watering systems, all that kind of stuff. And like I said in the second video, it really only takes a couple minutes a day. So if you have that time to take away from scrolling your phone in the bathroom, you can garden. And that being said too, in terms of saving time, if you've never gardened before, it is completely valid and understandable that there's a learning curve, and it does take time to learn all this, especially if you mess up, which happens. If weather is bad and things are slow, sure, it happens. Waiting on those things to grow is exciting, but also makes you a little bit impatient. But if you're new to this, doing something like joining a gardening group or finding a mentor or taking a course is a great way to save time in the long run, because you're going to gather all that knowledge and all that information sooner than if you had to experience it all at once. So that's kind of the time aspect. In terms of money, we all have budgets. Maybe it's a bigger budget, maybe it's a really, really tight budget, but we all do have financial constraints. And so that, again, is something that keeps a lot of people from gardening because they don't want to spend the money, or they buy some seeds and they go, this is great, and then they look at dirt and tools and wood to build raised beds and all this stuff, and it starts to add up, which is true. Depending on your budget, there are going to be some startup costs. Now, I would say that those startup costs are startup costs. You don't need to buy a new set of pruning shears every year. You don't need to buy new wood for those raised beds every year. Sometimes you don't even need to buy seeds every year, depending on how much you're planting, because seeds, if you store them properly, can last several years. And then if you buy heirloom seeds, which we'll talk about in my course, you can actually save those seeds, and then you have plants, for free, basically, that you've grown from your own plants. So there's lots of ways to save money there, and even though there are startup costs in the beginning, they even out over time, as opposed to going to the store. That's going to cost the same every time, no matter what. So in addition to that, like I said before with the time, if you end up making mistakes and you end up killing something right in the beginning, you have to go out and buy a new plant. Whereas if you do work with people in a community or take some kind of, educational piece, then that is going to help you, hopefully, save you from having to do that. So there's a lot of, I guess, troubleshooting things that you're going to be able to avoid that will save you money in the long run. So that brings me to the last point, which is knowledge. So yes, you don't know what you don't know. So if you've never ever gardened before, but you see the farmers markets and you see all these things on YouTube and I don't watch regular TV, but Netflix about organic food and making sure that you're knowing where your food comes from, it can be a little intimidating. And maybe you feel like you're stuck, in this spot of, I really want this for myself, but I have no idea where to begin. I understand that very well, because even now there are so many things that I'm just like, I want that so bad, but I don't necessarily feel like I have the time or the money or, wanting or, a space available to devote that. So, in terms of knowledge, yes, you don't know what you don't know. There's lots of websites out there and videos and all that kind of stuff. And it can be overwhelming and hard to sort through because there's so much information and you don't necessarily know what's, reliable, what's reputable, what is applying to you in this moment. And so it can be a lot to sort through, which takes up all your time. So, in order to get the most knowledge in the least amount of time for the most affordable amount of money, I think that, joining a community and working with other people who are going through the same experience you have, even if this is like your millionth time gardening, doing it all together and walking through step by step, learning about all the materials you need, how to start seeds, how to pick seeds, how to, avoid common mistakes and all that kind of stuff, that's going to be your best bet. And working through all of that is going to really increase your knowledge and also give you the support system so you're not constantly doubting yourself. Because when we began, I felt that way. And I still feel that way at some points. We get into a new experience and I start doubting, like, is this the right move? But when you're with a group of people and you're walking through it together, then it feels a lot more stable and a lot more doable. So yeah. So my whole ultimate goal for you is to be able to go into this year, grow your own food, grow something yourself. Doesn't have to be all your food for the year. Even it could just be a small herb garden. But to grow something yourself and to know what it feels like to watch this from the ground up. It's like having a child. If you have any children, you know how extremely fulfilling that is. To watch them grow, to watch them thrive, and to watch them bloom, blossom. And so to start with gardening and to watch this whole process unfold, to connect with your food through that. So in that, you're going to know where your food came from. You're going to know what it's been fed, what's been sprayed or not sprayed on it, where it's come from. It's not going to come from millions of miles away. It's going to come from your backyard or your windowsill. And that mentality and that experience, I believe, because it's happened to me and many, many, many other people I know, is going to spread into other areas of your life. You're going to want farm fresh eggs. You're going to want grass-fed beef or pasture-raised chicken or forest-raised pork. And not just because it's the trendy thing to do, but because it really, truly does make you feel better. And it is so empowering. I know I keep using that word, but it's extremely empowering for me to be able to say, oh, those green beans? Yeah, I picked them 20 minutes ago. Or that steak, I got it from a farm just down the road. And to know that there's no question about what you're putting in your body. We only get one of these. So being able to take care of it as best as you possibly can, I think that's worth a pretty hefty investment personally, because you don't want to mess it up, because messing it up takes a long time to fix, or it can. So making sure that you're fueling it with the right things, making sure that you are doing everything in your power to give it the best chance that you can to have a wonderful life is worth every penny, in my opinion. I also think that the experience of growing something yourself is just contagious. And, I find myself facing other challenges or obstacles during the day, during the week. Oh, my pants ripped, or what are we gonna have for dinner? And instead of just going to Wendy's or buying a new pair of pants, my brain does not automatically go there. It used to, but my brain now automatically goes to, oh, well, I can look in the fridge and see what ingredients we have and whip something up. I don't need a recipe. Or I can probably patch those pants myself. I can hem those jeans. And that is a huge shift, because that also is going to save you money. That also is going to save you time from trying to find who's the best tailor in town, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to increase your knowledge as well. So starting in this one area is going to change your entire way of life. And I don't mean that in a scary way. I mean that in a very exciting way. So I don't know. I hope this interests you. I am obviously very passionate about it. Next week, a week from today, actually, I will be starting a course, the first course ever hosted by the Sweet Gum Spot, called How to Grow Your Own Food. In parentheses, anyone can do it, because anyone can do it. And the doors for that course are going to be opening in just a few days. So I will have more details at that point. It's going to be 5 weeks long, live webinar. So we'll be sitting right here together, working through things step by step, answering your questions as you have them. And we're going to work together to start our gardens together. We're going to have a Facebook group, all that kind of stuff, so we can share our questions, our successes, our failures. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great time. And so I will have more information on that coming up in the next few days when the doors open. So I would love for you to join us this year in the first annual Sweet Gum Spot gardening course. Feel free to share this with your friends. Comment on this video and let me know, what is your biggest hurdle with gardening? And if you had no boundaries whatsoever, what would you grow? Could it be like oranges or whatever you would grow? Let me know. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Keep your eyes peeled on your email for when those doors open in just a few days, and I will see you soon. Bye.